Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another video here on Midallah. In numerous verses, Allah guides us towards different approaches we should take towards Qur'an, and places a huge importance on having a sincere relationship with the Book of Allah. However, Qur'an for many of us has turned into an ordinary book. Some might say that it is the only book that people read without understanding it. In some cases, it is even turned into a mere decoration in the house where it's left to be covered with piles over piles of dust. But that's not the only way Qur'an is forsaken in our lives. Imam al-Qayyim mentions 5 ways of amending the Qur'an as in the verse, and the messenger will say, "O my Lord, surely my people have treated this Qur'an as a forsaken thing." The 5 ways Ibn al-Qayyim talks about are: first, to forsake listening intently to it. Second, to forsake implementing it in our daily life. Third, to forsake referring back to it in all matters, whether primary or secondary, without hiding parts of it as if we're ashamed or claiming that some of its rulings do not apply to our modern age. Fourth, to forsake contemplating and understanding its meanings. And fifth, to forsake using it as a remedy to all diseases of the heart. Shaykh Ibrahim El Sakran in his book The Path to Qur'an highlights a couple of points that should serve to help us find our way back to the Book of Allah. And in this video, inshallah, I'll be attempting to summarize main takeaways that I got from this book. The starting point in our path to a better relationship with the Qur'an is to fully comprehend and appreciate the immense power that it possesses. Whenever the sound of Qur'an is heard, there tends to be this serene feeling that overcomes anyone nearby. The writer resembles this feeling to being in a very busy and loud factory, and then, all of a sudden, everything just falls silent. Shaykh Ibrahim El Sakran relates his experience when he first visited the West. He wanted to find out the biggest motivation that would make a non-Muslim convert to Islam. He expected to come up with a complicated explanation, but to his surprise, the biggest motivation that was repeated in most cases was that they once listened to the Qur'an and were overwhelmed with awe. This phenomena isn't unprecedented. It has been the case since the revelation of the Qur'an. One incident happened before the time of Hijrah. The people of Quraysh were persecuting the believers and it was hard for them to practice their faith in public. But Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was protected by an influential leader. Abu Bakr kept praying at his house day and night, but one day he built a small masjid at the back of his house where he prayed and recited the Qur'an. Al-Bukhari described the reaction of the women and children of Mecca to this by saying that they gathered in great numbers every day to listen to Abu Bakr's recitation and were greatly captivated by it, even though they were non-believers. But again, it's the powerful influence of the Qur'an. In the Qur'an itself, Allah describes what it's like to be filled with this overwhelming feeling as a result of listening to the Qur'an. And it is such a shame how far most of us are from experiencing that feeling, from falling to the ground in humility or having our eyes overflowing with tears as we recite the words of God. We are so far to the extent that a mountain would crack, but our hearts remain intact. And to think that we spend our time scrolling through social media apps or engaging in fruitless conversations or anything else having all of that behind is just sad. Completely immersing ourselves in matters of worldly life is one of the main reasons why we've become so hard-hearted. Therefore, the author says that the solution lies in contemplating the Qur'an. Every time you feel yourself going astray, it's because you've forsaken the contemplation of Qur'an. Allah tells the believers in Surah Al-Hadid that they shouldn't be like those who were given the scriptures before them, as a long period had passed over them, so their hearts hardened. As our hearts harden, our desires have the upper hand and acts of worship turn into a burden. Nonetheless, the remedy isn't so out of reach. But one might ask, what exactly should I contemplate as I'm reading the Qur'an? The author mentions some of them. For example, contemplating what's in the Qur'an about Allah Himself. It's odd how we're rushing to learn about lots of things while we know so little about our Creator. Contemplating the stories of the prophets. What does Allah want us to learn from their lives, and why certain parts are repeated in specific contexts? Contemplating the standards set by the modern world for prosperity, progress, and enlightenment, and viewing them through the lens of the Qur'an, only to find that we have messed up our priorities, putting so many deeds that Allah loves and is pleased with at the bottom of the list. the more you contemplate the Qur'an, the easier it will be for you to find your purpose in life, a purpose that is truly aligned with the path of Allah. The last point I'll address in this video is a few pieces of advice from the author. First and foremost, as you embark on your journey of contemplating the Qur'an, ask Allah for guidance. Ask Him to help you understand His book and put it into action. You'll only get there with His guidance. Second is to make it an essential part of your day, no matter what. It is a priority in your day, not something you do if you have free time. Put a specific part or wird for yourself and hold yourself accountable to it. Third, personal contemplation comes first, followed by reading tafsir. Read Qur'an from any of the books that explain difficult words in the margin. As you're reading, if you find a word that you don't understand, then look for its meaning. After that, think about what this verse could mean, and once you have a solid thought, check books of tafsir. That way you're practicing on your own first, and maybe Allah will guide you to a different understanding. Fourth is to ponder over the meanings of Qur'an with your family, just like what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to do with his wives. This is significant because it would make you as a family love the Qur'an more, and you will keep having conversations and discussions about your understanding of some of the verses, or what you read in a book of tafsir, for example. Last one is connected to the previous one. It is contemplating the Qur'an with your friends and companions, remembering what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, whenever people gather together in one of the houses of Allah for recitation of the Qur'an and teaching it to one another, comfort descends upon them, mercy covers them, angels spread their wings over them, and Allah makes mention of them to those around Him. With that, I conclude this video, hoping it was beneficial to you in any way. May Allah make us from the people of the Qur'an. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a nice day, and until we meet next time, keep your friends close and your books closer.